Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraya
Tato Jayamudiraya
Nastapраयेषु Bhadreshu
Prayesh Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhakti Naistike.
Bhaktir Bhagavate Naishtaki.
So we're continuing Canto 3, the status quo, chapter 12, creation of the Kumara. So we are seeing how Brahma is creating different sets.
Which was what?
Chapter 12, text 1.
Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Vacha.
Iti te varnitakshatta kalakya
No, you have to
paramatmakaha.
let them chant.
119.
Yeah. They will chant in response.
Yes, Prabhu, yeah.
Okay.
Iti te varnitakshatta kalakya paramatmanaha.
No. What are you doing?
Oh, and then just one line.
One line, then they will follow.
Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Vacha
Iti te varnitakshatta
Iti te varnitakshatta
kalakya paramatmanaha.
Kalakya Paramatmanaha
Mahima Veda Garbhota
Mahima Veda Garbhodha
Yata Rakshasinna Bodhame
Yata Rakshasa Nabodhame
Nibodhame
Rakshin Nibodha.
Rakshin Nibodhame.
Translation. Sri Maitreya said, O learned Vidura, so far I have explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature of Kala. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge. Text 2.
Sasarjagre Andatamishram
Sasajage Andatamisram
Atatamishram Adikrita
Atamisram Adikrita
Mahamoham cha moham cha
Mahamoham cha moham cha
Tamascha Chajnana Vrittayaha.
Tamasya Yadra Vittayaha.
Brahma first created the nascent engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception of forgetfulness of one's real identity. In the Prabhupada explains about this creation. Before the factual creation of the living entities, that means before even the living entities are given a body or something, in different variety of species, the conditions under which a living being in the material world has to live were created by Brahma. So first you have to set up everything, then you put the entities there. And part of the reason is, unless a living entity forgets his real identity, it is impossible for him to live in the material conditions of life. So if he knows who he is, he wouldn't want to stay around here. So therefore, these conditions are set up first. Therefore, the first condition of material existence is forgetfulness of one's real identity. And by forgetting one's real identity, one is sure to be afraid of death. Although a pure living soul is deathless and birthless. So when you identify with the body, then you become afraid. That is the point. If you don't identify with the body, then you will, if you know you are a spirit soul, then what is there to worry? That's what Prabhupada is saying. And No, this false identification with material nature is the cause of false ownership of things, which are offered by the arrangement of superior control, so that they can falsely enjoy their life. All material resources are offered to the living entity for his peaceful living and for the discharge of the duties of self-realization in conditioned life. So at the same time, it is set up so that if they know how to live a material life based on the laws arranged by the Lord, then their life will be peaceful. Otherwise, it's chaotic, as you all know and experience. Yeah? Because ultimately, what is the goal of life? To perform duties to lead one to self-realization. But due to false identification, the conditioned soul becomes entrapped by the sense of false ownership of the property of the Supreme Lord. And because of that, they cannot understand. Not possible. Even though Brahma is the creation of the Supreme Lord, he is now given this task. He's like a secondary, creator. So whatever he's doing it through the Lord's empowerment. It's not possible for him to do otherwise. Remember when he came from the lotus, the Lord went into the lotus first to empower him. It's in his heart now. So basically what Brahma is doing is he's creating the necessary illusory thing for and also the ignorance he's setting up, so that the souls, the living entities, can live with a false sense of identity. Text 3.
दृष्ट्वा पापीयासिं सृष्टिं
दृष्ट्वा पापीयासिं सृष्टिं
नात्मानं बहुम् अमान्यत
नात्मानं बहुमन्यत
भगवद्ध्यानपूतेन
भगवद्ध्यानपूतेन
मनसान्यां ततो सृजत्
मनसायां ततो सृजात्.
Seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation. Basically, he felt, why am I doing this task to all this illusion and so on? He wasn't feeling happy because he's a devotee and he feels compassion for the living entities. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, Lord Brahma was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task because he is doing it to punish like that. But he had to do it because most of the conditioned souls wanted it to be so. You see the contradiction. Brahma doesn't want it, but the conditioned living want to enjoy independence. So therefore he is forced to do it. A few lines after that, Prabhupada writes, when the living entity prefers to misuse his independence and glide down towards nescience, the all-merciful Lord first of all tries to protect him from the trap. But when the living entity persists in gliding down to hell, the Lord helps him to forget his real position. So it's not that the Lord is forcing anybody. It's not the Lord is forcing. It is our choice, and so he is helping us in that way, permitting us to be in that situation, because it's called free will. Yeah? The Lord helps the falling living entity glide down to the lowest point, just to give him the chance to see if he is happy by misusing his independence. So that is the thing. So you also know, in many parts of your life, are you really satisfied and happy or not? Right? And then you find that in all situations, you're never quite satisfied. The only time you're satisfied is when something pleases your senses. And that too don't last long. Then when you become a devotee, you realize actually you had things that you wanted more than you really required. Like, simple examples. If you have a house, then you are thinking about getting another bigger house. But what's the point? You already have a house like that. So our understanding that and learning those things are not there as a conditioned living entity. So that's why the Lord gives us a chance to see, are you sure you are happy in this situation like that? Text 4.
Sanakam cha sanandam cha
Sanakam cha sanandanam cha
sanatanam atatmaguho
Sanatanam atatmadu
sanat kumaram cha munin
Sanat Kumaram cha munim
nishkriyan urdhvare tasaha.
Nishriyan urdhvaretasha.
In the beginning, Brahma created 4 great sages named Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing upwards. Basically, they were very enlightened personality. In the purport, Prabhupada further explains who these personalities are. This is Brahma. He therefore created 4 principles of knowledge, Sankhya or empirical philosophy for the analytical study of material conditions, Yoga or mysticism for liberation of the pure soul from material bondage, Vairagya, the acceptance of complete detachment from material enjoyment in life to elevate oneself to the highest spiritual understanding, and Tapas are the various kinds of voluntary austerities performed for spiritual perfection. So Brahma created all this and the 4 Kumaras to be entrusted with these 4 aspects, principles for spiritual advancement. But when they are already elevated, they are also an empowered incarnation of the Lord. So they also understood, they have Jnana Shakti. So they understood that what Brahma wants them to do is not good for them, so they refuse. So we'll see. Prabhupada also say they are the preceptors of the Nimbarka Sampradaya. Or Kumar Sampradaya. Text 5.
Tan babase swabhuputran
Ambase sabhuputram
rajaha srajata putrakaha
Prajashata putraka
tannaichan moksha dharmano
Tannaichan moksha dharmano
vasudeva parayanaha.
Vasudeva parayana.
Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation and therefore they expressed their unwillingness. So you can see, Brahma was creating so that he can populate the universe. But the 4 Kumaras, they're already enlightened. So they say, no thanks. So therefore they are expressing their unwillingness. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, people may ask how the Kumaras could refuse the orders of Brahma, who was their father, and above all the creator of the universe. The reply is that one who is Vasudeva Parayana, or seriously engaged in the devotional service of personality Godhead, Vasudeva, need not care for any other obligation. So that is the point here. If you are really 100% focused in pleasing the Supreme Lord, then you are not obligated for any other conditions or rituals or whatever. You are beyond that. So that is the situation with the Kumaras. Text 6.
Savadhyata sutairevam
Savadhyata sutairevam
pratyakhyatanusasanaihi
Pratyakhyananusasanaihi
krodam durvisaham jatam
Krodam jatam
niyantum upachakrame.
Niyantam upachakrame.
On the refusal of the sons to obey the order of their father, there was much anger generated in the mind of Brahma, which he tried to control and not express. The reason is quite simple, because he is in charge of the mode of material nature's passion, So therefore, he got angry because father normally gets this, angry when the son or daughter say no. And they usually want their children to say yes, but this was a shocker for him. So Prabhupada writes, Brahma, being absorbed in the mode of passion, could not check his passionate anger. He got very angry. He did not express it. He didn't shout at them or whatever, but he was trying to control it. However, because he knew that his sons were far enlightened in spiritual advancement, thus he should not express his anger before them. So he also knew they were very advanced. So therefore he tried to control it. Text 7.
Diya nigrahyamanopi
Diya nigrahyamanopi
Bhruvor prajapatehe
Madhyat Prajapate
Sadyo jayata tanmanyuhu
Satyajayata Tanmayuho
Kumaro nilalohitaha
Kamaro Nilalohitaha.
Although he tried to curb his anger, it came out from between his eyebrows, and a child mixed blue and red was immediately generated. So this is Brahma, and he is transcendental. So he's doing a transcendental service for Krishna. So when he was trying to control, it came out through his eyebrows. But for us, our anger will come out through our mouth, our hands, and everything. But in this case, this child was born here. Such anger, Prabhupada writes, in its true color came from between the eyebrows of Brahma as Rudra in a mixed color of blue, ignorance, and red, passion. Because anger is the product of passion and ignorance. So the colors blue indicate ignorance, red is passion. Goodness is yellow. Okay. Text 8.
Savairuroda devanam
Savairuroda devanam
Purvajo bhagavan bhavaha
Purvajo Bhagavan Bhavaha
Namani kurume dataha
Namani Kurume Dataha
Sthanani cha jagadguru
Sthanani Jagadguru.
After his birth, he began to cry, "O Destiny Maker, Teacher of the Universe, kindly designate my name and place." So they are all, they are born like that, fully formed, intelligence, everything. Not like our children. It takes months and years before you know this kid is good or not. Right? We do not know, right? In the beginning, we think everything is fine. And then when they are 16, 17, 18, even then you do not know.
Starts as nectar and ends as poison.
Yeah. Not necessarily. Not that bad. The point is you do not know. Whereas over there they already are, and they have some abilities. They already know. It's not like they don't know anything. It's not they are so ignorant. Everything is there. They just want to figure out certain things. So he's asking, what am I supposed to do? And tell me now. Text 9.
Iti tasya vacha padmo
Iti tasya vachamadmo
Bhagavan paripalayan
Bhagavan paripalayan
Abhyadad bhadraya vacha
Abhyaya Bhadraya Vacha
Maro distat karomite
Maro Istakaromite.
The all-powerful Brahma, who was born from the lotus flower, pacified the boy with gentle words, accepting his request, and said, "Do not cry. I shall certainly do as you desire." Text 10.
Yat arodhi surasreshta
Yadarohi Surashrestha
Shodvega iva balakaha
Sudhiveka Yavalaka
Tatastvam abhidasyanti
Tasaswam Abhyasyanti
Namna Rudra iti prajaha
Namna Rudra iti Prajaha.
Thereafter Brahma said, "O chief of the demigods, you shall be called by the name Rudra by all people because you have so anxiously cried." I guess Rudra means to cry out. Text 11.
हृद इन्द्रियाणि असुर्व्योम
हृदिन्द्रियाणि वसुर्व्योम
वायुरग्निर्जलं मही
वायुरग्निर्जलं महि
सूर्यश्चन्द्रस्तपश्चैव
सूर्यश्चन्द्रस्तपश्चैव
स्थानानि अग्रे कृतानि ते
स्थानानि अग्निकृतानि ते.
My dear boy, I have already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the earth, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity.
Almost all places.
Huh?
Almost all places.
Almost all places. Well, the mode of passion is in many places. Yeah, that's how it, and mode of ignorance also combined. So it's like that. Just like the air, when there's strong winds, it destroys things. So there's Rudras there. When there's a big fire, earthquake, so there's this destruction, ignorance, passion. So like that, one can understand this is his places. Okay. And when you get angry, all the breathing, the fire, all that. You can read the Prabhupada explains, in a sense, some of the things nicely. Text 12.
मन्युर्मनुर्महीनासो
मन्युर्मनोर्महिषासो
महान् शिवरतध्वजः
महान् शिवरतध्वजः
उग्ररेतभवः कालो
उग्ररेता भवत्कालो
वामदेवो धृतव्रतः
वामदेवो धृतव्रतः.
Lord Brahma said, my dear boy Rudra, you have 11 other names: Manyu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Ritadvaja, Ugrareta, Bhava, Kala, Vamadeva, and Dhritavrata. Text 13.
धीर्धृतिरसलोमा च
दीर्घतीरसलोमा च
नियुत्सर्पिरिलम्बिका
नियुत्सर्पेर्विलम्बिका
इरावती स्वधा दीक्षा
यावती स्वधा दीक्षा
रुद्राण्यो रुद्रते स्त्रियः
रुद्राण्यो रुद्रते स्त्रियः.
O Rudra, you also have 11 wives called the Rudranis, and they are as follows: Di, Driti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swada, and Diksha. Text 14.
गृहाणैतानि नामानि
गृहाणैतानि नामानि
स्थानानि च स योषणः
स्थानानि च योषणः.
ये विसृज प्रजा बह्विः
हे विसृजा प्रजापतिः
प्रजानाम् असि यत्पतिः
प्रजानाम् असि यत्पतिः.
My dear boy, you may now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives. And since you are now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on a large scale. So here he is asking Rudra, and Rudra has accepted whatever Brahma is telling him. Unlike Kumaras, they said no. So he told them to go and increase the population. Okay, text 15.
इति आदिष्टस्वगुरुना
इति यादिष्टस्वगुरुना
भगवान् नीललोहितः
भगवान् नीललोहितः
सत्त्वाकृते स्वभावेन
सत्त्वाकृते स्वभावेन
ससर्जात्मा समाप्रजाः
ससर्जात्मा समाप्रजाः.
The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created many offspring, exactly resembling him in features, strength, and furious nature. 16.
रुद्राणां रुद्रसृष्टानां
रुद्राणां रुद्रश्रेष्ठानां
समान्तात् गृषतां जगत्
समानावससां जगत्
निशम्या साङ्ख्यशो यूतान्
निशाम्यासांख्यशोयुतान्
प्रजापते अशङ्कत
प्रजापते अशङ्कता.
The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma, the father of the living entity, saw this, he became afraid of the situation. So he wanted he just started the creation, and for some reason these guys want to all destroy everything. Actually, they are doing what they are meant to do, but it was the wrong timing. So let's see what Brahma says. Text 17.
अलं प्रजाभिः सृष्टाभिः
प्रजाभिः
ईदृशेभिः सुरोत्तमा
ईदृशीरीसुरोत्तमा
मया सह दहान्तेभिः
मया सह दहान्तेभिः
दिशश्चक्षुभिरुल्बणैः
चक्षुर्गुणैः
Brahma told Rudra, "O best among the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with the fiery flames from their eyes, and they have even attacked me." So they even attacked Brahma. So Prabhupada also says that if even they attack Rudra sometimes. You remember the Vritasura? He also like this. So they are like that. Rudra's worshippers or offspring of Rudra like that. Text 18.
तप अतिष्ठ भद्रं ते
तपादिष्टभद्रन्ते
सर्वभूतसुखावहम्
सर्वभूतसुखावहम्
तपसैव यथा पूर्वम्
तपसैव पूर्वम्
सृष्टा विश्वम् इदं भवान्
सृष्टा विश्वम् इदं भवान्
My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities and which will bring all benediction upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before. In the purport, Prabhupada says Rudra was advised not to destroy while the period of creation and maintenance was going on, but to situate himself in penance and wait for the time of dissolution when his services would be called for. Text 19.
तपसैव परं ज्योतिर्
तपसैव परं ज्योतिर्
भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम्
भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम्
सर्वभूतगुहावासम्
सर्वभूतगुहावासम्
अञ्जसा विन्दते पुमान्
अञ्जसा विन्दते पुमान्
By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity, and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses. So Brahma advised Rudra to perform penance as an example to his own sons and grandsons and followers. That penance is necessary for attaining the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Rudra accepts that because he's a very nice person. Go on. Text 20.
मैत्रेय उवाच
मैत्रेय उवाच
एवम् आत्मभुवादिष्टः
एवमात्मभुवादिष्टः
परिक्रम्य गिरां पतिम्
परिक्रम्य गिरापतिम्
बाधम् इति अमन्त्र्य
बाधमिति
विवेश तपसेवनम्
विवेश तपसेवनम्
Sri Maitreya said, thus Rudra, having been ordered by Brahma, circumambulated his father, the master of Vedas. Addressing him with the words of assent, he entered the forest to perform austere penances. So like a good son, he accepted that. Text 21.
अताभिध्यायतः सर्गम्
अताभिद्याव्यासर्गम्
दशपुत्रः प्रजज्ञिरे
दशपुत्रः प्रजागिरे
भगवच्छक्तियुक्तस्य
भगवच्छक्तियुक्तस्य
लोकसन्तनहेतवः
लोकसन्तानहेतवः
Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations. So Brahma is actually creating through his mind and through his body parts like that. So that's what's happening. Text, yeah.
What's the exact relation between Rudra and Lord Shiva? Or he's just Lord Shiva?
So
Or
he,
just-
yeah, you can say he is.
One of the names.
Yeah, you can say he is. One of his names is Shiva also. Yeah.
So his expansion.
Because there within the universe there are a few places where there's Shiva residing also. And outside there, the Viraj River also there's a location. And then at the edge between the Vaikunta region and the Viraj River also there's a place he stays. So He stays in Sadashiva Loka, he also stays on the Mahakala Loka, and then he stays in Kailash. Then within the covering of the universe, there is a false ego. And then that region also, there is a location where he has a few forms. So which one this one is, I am not sure.
So the wives are also expanding the
Yes. Yeah, text 22.
मरीचेर अत्रि अंगीरासौ पुलस्त्या पुलः क्रतुः भृगुर्वसिष्ठो दक्षश्च दशमास्तत्र नारदः
Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasthya, Pulaha, Kratu, Brigu, Vashishta, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narada, were thus born. So these are all these like mental sons.
So when Bhishma Dev was leaving his body, most of these
Personalities
personalities were there. I don't know if Narada was there, I don't remember. But Vashishta, Bhrigu, all these.
Yes. These are also like Chiranjeevis, They are there from the beginning. Yeah. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, Brahma therefore created another set of good children. Okay, because when he created Rudra, all one set of problems came. So he had to stop there and start again. So now a new set of good children who are mostly in favor of worldly fruitive activities. So all of them will do some fruitive activities. They are laughing. He knew very well, however, that without devotional service to the Lord, there is hardly any benefit for the conditioned souls. And therefore, he at last created his worthy son Narada, who is the supreme spiritual master of all transcendentalists. For Narada, when he created all of them, the 9 people, the 10th for Narada, he really thought carefully about. Then Narada came. And Narada is the embodiment, empowered personality also, is embodiment of Bhakti Shakti. Yeah.
The difference, Lord Brahma is a post, but these personalities, including Narada, are personalities themselves. They are not posts.
No.
Right?
No.
There is a difference.
Yeah. As far as I know, no. Text 23.
उत्सङ्गान्नारदो जज्ञे दक्षो अङ्गुष्टात् स्वयं भुवः प्राणापशिष्टः सञ्जातो भृगुस्त्वाचेकरात् क्रतुः
Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which means from his thinking, which is the best part of the body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Brigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand. So he could do that, we can't do that. Purpose. Narada was born from the best deliberation of Brahma because Narada was able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he liked. That is his potency. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge or by any number of penances. But a pure devotee of the Lord like Narada can deliver the Supreme Lord by his good will. If he likes you and he wants to help you, that's it, you'll be back to Godhead. So Narada is like our spiritual master. In the same way, we also try to please our spiritual master. Narada is also in our disciplic succession. The very name Narada suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Nara means the Supreme Lord, and Da means one who can deliver. That he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that the Lord is like a commodity that can be delivered to any person. It's not like Narada is like the UPS or like that, no? Place an order, you get it. It doesn't work like that. He's not selling, yeah. But Narada can deliver to anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a servitor, friend, parent, or lover, as one may desire out of one's own transcendental love for the Lord. So see, Narada himself has a rasa with the Lord, which is Dasya Ras or Shanta
What did it get confused with those two?
7, no?
7? That's it.
More like all reverence, no? Huh? Dasya, because you have to see how Srivas Pandit was reacting, right? When Lakshmi was in the Jagannath pastime, sent her maidservants to catch. He was very happy to hear that. So yeah, in a sense, dasa. Yeah. But then, just even though he's in a dasa, he can give people servitor, friend, parent, or lover.
Also experienced.
Also
experienced even Narada Gopal.
Yeah, he has also, but let's not go into that. Yeah, but you can see he can be a guru for any of this. So that's indication that sometimes people will argue that you have to be this to give that, right? But in a spiritual method, a relationship, in this case, it appears according to Prabhupada, if the person is qualified, they can guide you to that level. That means they can bring you to another person who can take you back to that level. So we can understand that. And also, Narada pastime, so many pastimes we have heard over the years, that he always delivers, right? Whoever he meets, if he feels kindness towards him, he delivers, right? Even you take, what was that, Manigriva and Nalakuvara. He punished them, he was angry, he punished them. But then at the same time, he gave them Krishna. Right? So many personalities. Dhruva Maharaj, yeah, Prachetas with Lord Shiva, Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. Chitraketu, yes, with his friend, he came. So many. The Mrigari, the hunter, Hari Varsha, and then the snake. So many persons. The cobbler.
Countless.
So many, unlimited. You can look in the Puranas, you can see. Now it's like everywhere is there.
Is there everywhere?
And all age
In all
groups.
pastimes he is there.
Almost all
In
past.
all age groups he's preaching.
Yes.
That's what I heard in one lecture.
He's always
There are all
preaching.
kinds of people, age groups or varieties.
Yes.
No
No discrimination.
No discrimination.
No
really
discrimination.
at the start.
Kayadu also.
Kayadu.
Yeah, Kadayu, yeah.
So many people he's helping. Even
Kamsa.
Kamsa, he goes
Kamsa,
and talks,
yeah.
try to give him some sense. So it's just an amazing personality. Yeah. And yeah, and Prabhu also was saying that he also got opportunity to become a gopi, to in the inner circle to experience and see what was happening intimately. He couldn't participate, he was just like a guard because of his rasas there. Yeah. Yeah.
I just had an extension to the same question that I asked. Maybe there's an answer, but yeah, we see Brahma is a post, but these are personalities. So we think of this description as description of one universe. It will be there in other universes multiple times also. If that is the case, then these also cannot
Similar.
be individual personalities. Right? Or,
Oh, you mean in terms of the post, it's only the administrative post,
yeah.
Yeah. So in
So
terms of
these-
Prajapatis, they in
Or
other
the sons of
universes,
Brahma are not posts. Basically.
I do not think they are posts.
But then in every universe,
That's
whenever
possible.
Brahma comes,
Yeah, he
then-
has sons also.
but they may not be the same.
Different names. Maybe they
Different
might do
names.
similar functions. You need one of them to do the animal. You need one of them to do the bird, insects, like that. So there will be such demigods. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But not necessarily like this is a post-wise. No, like Indra is a post. But different jiva can take that post. That's for administrative functions and so forth. But for creation or progeny and dynasty, anyone can, who's qualified, can be doing that.
Right.
In a sense, you could say it appears like that, in a sense, you can say it is like a pose, right? But it is not like a pointed pose like that.
But Narada, there is only one Narada.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm telling.
So Narada is actually existing in all the places at the same time.
He's spiritual. It's possible, but I
He
do not
lost all
know.
the
Yeah.
golden universe in that.
He's spiritual, no?
Mm.
Yeah. But it appears that he took birth in this universe. You know? So I do not have any information more than that. Yeah. So you can ask Maharaj also. In all, but he travels everywhere. No? He goes back to Vaikuntha. He comes back.
So he can go to multiple
Any
universes,
universe he
any
can.
universe.
Yeah. Anyway, text 24.
पुलहो नाभितो जग्ने पुलस्त्याकर्णयो ऋषिः अङ्गीरामुकटोक्षणोत्रेर् मरीचेर्मनसो भवात्
Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Text 25.
धर्मस्थनात् दक्षिणातो यत्र नारायणः स्वयम् अधर्मपृष्ठतो यस्मान् मृत्युर्लोकभयङ्करः
Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. So different states of consciousness Brahma is manifesting to produce different things from his mind and his body. That's what we are seeing. Okay, next 26.
हृदि कामो भ्रुवक्रोधो लोभश्चाधार दच्छदात् अस्याद्वाक् सिन्धवो मेद्रान् निर्त्रिः त्वायोरगाश्रयः
Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyes, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. And the purport Srila Prabhupada writes, towards the middle, he says, the theory of becoming desireless is untenable because the mind cannot be made desireless. A devotee of the Lord always has the Lord in his mind, and thus he does not need to be desireless, because all his desires are in relationship with the service of the Lord. Then towards the end he says, one may be very learned in the mundane estimation, but that does not mean that he is free from all low activities of lust and anger. Good qualifications can be expected only from a pure devotee who is always engaged in the thought of the Lord or in samadhi with faith. Basically, we all have that qualities in us, bad qualities also. Unless we are focused on the service, Krishna, these things can come up anytime, all those bad qualities. Okay. So therefore, one who is always worshipping the Supreme Lord is automatically endowed with good qualities, right? Text 27.
छायायाः कर्दमो जग्ने देवहत्याः पतिप्रभुः मनसो देहतश्चेदम् जग्ने विश्वकृतो जगत्.
Translation. Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Okay. It's for someone who just reads manifest from the shadow of Brahma, they will think it's really nut jobs here. It's true, no? So therefore, we can't just take this section and then talk to outside people, try to preach to them. They will think we're nut jobs, all of us, crazy people, because they cannot accept these things. But because you all have experienced for so many years Krishna consciousness, okay, this is possible. We are not talking about ordinary people. We are talking about someone who's on a different trans-dimensional platform. Therefore, they can do all these things. No? Siddhi, all this. He has all the siddhis, Brahma. Yeah. It's not like he has to do anything special. He has it. He's empowered. And therefore, he could do all these things from his body, his fingers, from his thumb, he can create people. It's just far out when you think about it. Prabhupada writes in the purport, although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented unalloyed by one another. Meaning, even in the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the modes of passion and ignorance, there is sometimes a tinge of the mode of goodness. That means they always combine. Something of one or the other will be there. Goodness will be in either a lot or little bit is there. Therefore, all the sons generated from the body or the mind of Brahma were in the modes of passion and ignorance. But some of them, like Kardama, were born in the mode of goodness, even though he is from the shadow. Narada was born in the transcendental state of Brahma. So Brahma is transcendental, okay, in this situation.
So they quote Narada and Kardama as exceptions, and others are in mixed modes of passion and ignorance. But then they have these exalted personalities like Vasistha,
Yeah,
Marichi.
they are mixed modes.
Mixed modes.
Yeah. So he is also, at that time of creation, he is also at mode of goodness and passion, little like that. But later on, you can see they do their tapasya and all, and then they reach purity, or Brahma Rishi or whatever, but means they have become pure. Text 28.
वाचं दुहितरं तन्वीं
वाचं दुहितरं तन्वीं
स्वयंभूर्हरतिं मनः
स्वयंभूर्हरति मनः
अकामां चकामे क्षप्तः
आकामां चकामिषत्तः
सकाम इति न श्रुतम्
सकामा इति न श्रुतम्.
O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind towards sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Now remember I told you previously, this is not like in chronology or anything. So it appears that this section of what Maitreya is saying could be happened before Brahma became a pure devotee. It is possible, because we do not know how the sequence is coming. Okay, so
But didn't he start creating after he became a pure devotee?
we do not know
The
when.
whole creation itself, we don't know.
Yeah, we do not know which point is this, because what did the Lord promise him?
Will not be touched by them.
You will be protected.
Yeah, he said, you never, not a single thing, you're perfectly all protected. Then how this can happen, right? So therefore, the only logical conclusion is it must happen before the devastation, because he's waking up in the night and then creating. Yeah. Or it could be a different Brahma, that's true. Yeah.
The Prabhupada says in the purport that this is, to show as an example
Anyway,
how we can also get sucked into that.
Anyway, let me finish, then we can talk about that. In the purport, at the last paragraph, Prabhupada writes, one should, however, take serious note of this incident. The human being is a social animal, and his unrestricted mixing with the fair sex leads to downfall. That is the point. Such social freedom of men and women, especially among the younger section, is certainly a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual progress. Material bondage is due only to sexual bondage, and therefore unrestricted association of man and woman is surely a great impediment. What is the impediment for?
Self-realization.
Yeah, self-realization. Maitreya cited this example on the path of Brahma just to bring to our notice this great danger. So the other thing is, he could be placed to give us a lesson also about Brahma. Yeah? The Lord may have put Brahma in such a situation, but then it will be contradictory because the Lord already promised him.
So
Yeah.
chronologically it could be different.
That's exactly my point, you see. Yeah.
But here he is actually asking, like Vidura is, Maitreya is asking,
It's not asking.
oh Vidura, we have heard, so it definitely happened in the past.
It happened in the past, but this is his history, no?
Anyway, the whole thing is history.
No, but still within the history is telling about history. So it is not chronological.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's not correct. It could have happened in the previous
Maybe different.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
text 29. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, carry on.
Tam adharme krita matim
तमदर्मे कृतामतिं
vilokya pitaram sutaha
विलोक्य पितरं सुतः
marichi mukhyamunayo
मरीचि मुख्यामयो
vishrambhat pratyabhodayan
विश्रम्भा प्रत्यबोधयन्
Thus, finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about the sons, they knew very well that even though their father committed a mistake, there must have been some great purpose behind the show. Otherwise, such a great personality could not have committed such a mistake. It might be that Brahma wanted to warn his subordinate about human frailties in their dealings with women. This is always very dangerous for persons who are on the path of self-realization. Continue, text 30.
naitat purvaihi kritam tvatye
नैतं पूर्वैः कृतं त्वद्ये
na karishyanti chapare
न करिष्यन्ति चापरे
yastvam duhitaram gaccher
यस्त्वं दुरितरं गच्छेत्
anigrihyankajam prabhu
अनिर्यागजं प्रभु
Oh Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You are the supreme being in the universe. So how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire? Continue text 31.
tejiyasam api hietan
तेजयासामपि विहेतां
na sushlokyam jagadguru
नाशोष्यं जगद्गुरु
yadvrittam anutishtan vai
यद्वृत्तं अनुतिष्ठन् वै
lokakshemaya kalpate
लोकक्षेमाय कल्पते
Even though you are the most powerful being, this act does not suit you because your character is followed for spiritual improvement by people in general. Yad Yadacharita. So therefore it's important. They are appealing to him. In the purport, Prabhupada says, the sun evaporates water from filthy places, and yet it is not affected by the quality of the filth. Similarly, Brahma remains unimpeachable in all conditions. But still, since he is the spiritual master of all living entities, his behavior and character should be so ideal that people will follow such sublime behavior and derive the highest spiritual benefit. So because of that, he shouldn't have acted. Text 32.
तस्मै नमो भगवते
तस्मै नमो भगवते
य इदं स्वेन रोचिसा
य इदं स्वेन रोचिषा
आत्मस्थं व्यजयम् आस
आत्मसंव्यजयामास
स धर्मां पातुमर्हति।
तद्धर्मं पातुमर्हति।
Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who, by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. It appears that when they asked Brahma, Brahma wasn't willing to stop his action. So therefore they are saying, let us pray to the Supreme Personality of God. In the purport, Prabhupada says, lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears herein that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination in spite of the appeal by his great sons like Marichi. Therefore the great sons began to pray to the Supreme Lord for the good sense of Brahma. And then we'll see that their prayer was fruitful because the Lord helps them. Text 33.
स इत्थं घृणतः पुत्रान्
सायितं विघ्नपुत्रान्
पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन्
पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतिं
प्रजापतिपतिस्तन्वं
प्रजापतिपतिस्तन्वं
तत्याज प्रदितस्तदा
तत्याजावृदितस्तदा
तां दिशो जगृहुर्घोरं
तां दिशो जगृघोरं
निहारां यद्विदुस्तमः
निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः।
The father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, thus seeing all his Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed, and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later, that body appeared in all directions as the dangerous fog in darkness. So you can see he can cast off his mentality as a body.
Given the body.
Yeah, his mentality, the consciousness. So he just gave it up as a body, and that became a fog. Purport. The best way to compensate for one's sinful acts is to give up one's body at once, because we can't do that. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by his personal example. Brahma has a fabulous duration of life, but he was obliged to give up his body due to his grievous sin, even though he had merely contemplated it in his mind without having actually done it. Prabhupada says, this is a lesson for the living entities, showing how sinful an act it is to indulge in unrestricted sex life. Even to think of abominable sex life is sinful, and to compensate for such acts, one has to give up his body. In other words, one's duration of life, blessings, opulence, etc. are decreased by sinful acts. And the most dangerous type of sinful act is unrestricted sex. So the fog is a feature of ignorance, Prabhupada writes there. Ignorance is a cause of sinful life, or sinful life is a cause of gross ignorance. The feature of ignorance is darkness or fog. Text 34.
कदाचिध्यायत स्रष्टो
कदाचिदनायकस्वस्तु
वेदसंश्चतुर्मुखात्
वेदासंस्कृतमुखान्
कथं स्रक्ष्यास्यामि अहं लोकान्
कथं शक्ष्याम्यहं लोकान्
समवेतान् यथा पुरा।
समवेतान् यथा पुरा।
Once upon a time, when Brahma was thinking of how to create the worlds, as in the past millennium, the four Vedas, which contain all varieties of knowledge, became manifested from his four mouths. Again, there's no
Lack of chronology.
Yes,
Once upon a time.
once upon a time. Like a fairy tale, right? Text 35.
चातुर्होत्रं कर्मतन्त्रं
चातुर्होत्रं धर्मतन्त्रम्
उपवेदनयैः सह
उपवेदनयैः सह
धर्मस्य पादश्चत्वारः
धर्मस्वातन्त्र्यस्वातन्त्र्यः
तथैवाश्रमवृत्तयः।
तथैवाश्रमवृत्तयः।
The four kinds of paraphernalia for conducting the fire sacrifice became manifest. The performer, who's the chanter, the offerer, the fire, and the action performed in terms of the supplementary Vedas. Also, the four principles of religiosity, truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, and the duties in the four social orders all became manifest. The Prabhupada explains, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating are the four principles of material bodily demands, which are common to both the animals and human society. To distinguish human society from the animals, there is the performance of religious activities in terms of the social statuses and orders of life. They are all clearly mentioned in the Vedic literatures and were manifested by Brahma when the four Vedas were generated from his mouths. So this is how everything is established, the duties of man. Everything is coming from the Vedas. And Prabhupada says those who follow this are called Aryans. Text 36.
The question is, after the personalities had come in the previous verses, there was also these qualities, or which was the words, with the lust and some other. I was thinking there is not just the personalities, but also some.
Yeah, that's in the first few. We discussed that, where first he creates that first, so that the living entities can be trapped, and undergo suffering and so on, because they want that. Otherwise they cannot enjoy, no? In the illusion. So they want the illusion.
Vidura uvacha savai vishwasrajam isho vedadin mukato svrajat yadyadhyena svrajat devas tanme bruhi tapodhana.
Vidura said, O great sage, whose only wealth is penance, kindly explain to me how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic knowledge which emanated from his mouth. Text 37.
Maitreya uvacha Rigyajussamatharvakhyan Vedan purvadibhirmukaihi Shastram ijyam stutistomam Prayaschittam vyadhat kramat.
Maitreya said, beginning from the front face of Brahma, gradually the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva became manifest. Thereafter, Vedic hymns, which had not been pronounced before, priestly rituals, the subject matters of the recitation, and the transcendental activities were all established one after another. So, the four face, each one is speaking one of the Vedas. It appears like that. Yeah.
Probably one very silly question. So this Brahma has four faces, so there are four Vedas.
I do not know. Million heads, how many Vedas, right?
They're still reciting same letters.
It is possible. They may have more information, more rituals, more complexity. Yeah.
So the Vedas, in the first canto or the second canto, we said Hayagriva gave the Vedas. But Brahma is merely reciting them. He's not coming up with the Vedas.
Well, the situation happens that Brahma, when time of dissolution sometimes, or when he's sleeping sometimes, he loses the ability, the knowledge of the Vedas, like
And
that.
the Lord has to.
And the Lord comes in. One time even a demon hid and stole the Vedas from Brahma. Somehow he did gave Brahma insomnia or something like that. So then Brahma didn't know. So then Hayagriva came or killed the guy and then re-established the Vedas like that. So there are pastimes like that. Yeah. It's all pastimes for the Lord can participate and come and help his devotees. There's a pleasure to come and give them the association. That's more pleasurable for him. than Vedas itself. That's like secondary for him. Right. So Rig, Yajur, Sama are known as the main Vedas, and Atharva is the lesser Veda. That's why sometimes they say three Vedas like that. Yeah, because the Atharva Veda is made from the first three actually in one sense, and in another sense, Atharva Veda doesn't include any sacrificial kind of things. It has more tantras and stuff like that. Yeah.
Maintenance, material activities, material maintenance in the body.
Well, they all have, but more Atharva is more. If let's say I make a mistake in the Sama Veda or what in the Yagya, then there is from Atharva Veda they'll use to overcome those things like that, to fix it, more like a patch. It's like to run your patch,
Those
right?
Vedas, they have to recite in a particular
Right,
method.
right.
They make a small mistake, it
Yeah.
actually can become negative.
Negative, yes, that's true. Which we read in the past times, yeah.
Another
They
point.
got those ideas from there.
Yeah, of course. Everything you see nowadays is coming from Vedas.
Another point I heard is the Rishis, even though and Brahma is doing this mistake, they didn't stop him. They just said, they were just surprised and said, and they prayed to Supreme Personality because he is senior to them, he is father, he cannot correct them. They just, out of surprise, they said, and then they prayed to Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is etiquette. That's what I heard. They didn't stop him. So you should not do like that. They didn't say.
Yeah, because he was their creator, so they were very respectful. But they were like, "What's happening, dude?"
But they were like surprised and they recited this and
Yeah,
They did say that the axe does not suit you.
yeah, they did say that, but they didn't interfere.
But they didn't.
That is etiquette, right?
Etiquette, it's an
Point
etiquette.
out that, but not
You don't shout at your senior people
Yeah.
like, "You are
Yes, we are
crazy,"
not
you are
like-
no.
Not like
Yeah.
that. But they are
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
not like
And
that.
they say, "Please," you
and
know.
then immediately they played to Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, that's what they did. They figured this is not going anywhere. He really needs help. So they were very intelligent sons. So. Text 38.
Ayurveda.
There's this isn't there a story where maybe the sons of they laughed at Brahma and they later got punished. Somebody else actually laughed at Brahma. I don't know. Somebody somewhere
I don't know.
I heard there's
There may be other pastimes like that in the Quran.
that sons of these guys are very respectful, but
Yeah.
some other people were not, and they
fell
I
down.
can't remember.
Yeah.
That they got some reaction for that.
Okay.
Ayurvedam Dhanurvedam
Ayurvedam Dhanurvedam
Gandharvam Vedamatmanah
Gandharvam Vedamatmanah
Stapatyam Chasrajadvedam
Tapatyam Chasrajadvedam
Kramat Purvadibhirmukaihi
Purvadibhirmukaihi.
He also created the medical science, Ayurveda, military art, musical art, and architectural science, all from the Vedas. They all emanated one after another, beginning from the front face. Upavedas, all the Vedas. Upapurana, supplements to the.
So that means Brahma had 4 phases, so that
Yeah.
means different phases have different coming out.
Yes.
Of which one?
not
No,
like-
don't worry about million phases.
It's not the way they show it in the movie. Only one gets big, the other gets big.
Only once a life. Text 39.
Itihasa Puranani
Itihasa Puranani
Panchamam Vedameshwarah Sarvebhya eva Vaktrebhyah
Sarvebhya eva Vaktrebhyah
Sasraje Sarvadarshanaha
Sarvadarshanam.
Then he created the 5th Veda, the Puranas, and the histories from all his mouths, since he could see all the past, present, and future. So our Brahma is also Trikala Jnana. He's given that ability, so he could even sing out the histories, what's going to happen, how it's going to happen.
Yes, because these things have not happened,
Yes,
but because you already can see
yes, that's right. So they are like itihasas, and Puranas. Text 40.
Sodasi Ukthav Purva Vaktrat
Shoshashirapurvapara
Purishyagni तुचौ अत आप्तो यमातिरात्रौ च वाजाप्येम शोकसावम्
All the different varieties of fire sacrifices, Shodasi, Ukta, Purishi, Agnishtoma, Aptoryama, Atiratra, Vajapeya, and Goshava became manifested from the eastern mouth of Brahma. Go on.
विद्यादानं तपःसत्यं
विद्यादानं तपःसत्यं
धर्मस्येते पदानि च
धर्मस्येति पदानि च
आश्रमांश्च यथा साङ्ख्यम्
आश्रमांश्च यथा साङ्ख्यम्
असृजात् सह वृत्तिभिः
असृजात् सर्ववृत्तिभिः.
Education, charity, penance, and truth are said to be the four legs of religion. And to learn this, there are four orders of life with different classifications of castes according to vocation. Brahma created all these in systematic order. Now, you asking east face, where is it? I believe in the Vedas they are so well versed, they understand, how to relate a person of the east is where, right or left, like that when you face them, Because we don't know which direction Brahma is facing.
It's relative. So
Yeah, it's relative.
But usually all auspiciousness is towards the eastern side. So typically all austerities are performed.
That may be so,
by
but
turning to the east.
So which head is he when
Yeah,
you
which
ask?
head?
We don't know.
So Prabhu, consider in the Bhagavatam, it is said Satyam Saucham Shama Daya Karena Varuna Rajan.
Yeah.
Here it is different. Education, charity, penance and truth are the four pillars of religion. Satyam Saucham Shama Daya are the four
Well,
pillars. that we know.
education means it's part of your, each one you have to see. Truth is based on Satyam.
Satyam.
Yeah. Then penance is
Based on austerity.
austerity. And then charity is
Dhanam, but it's not
Mercy,
Saucham
compassion.
or,
Compassion.
mercy.
Compassion.
Yeah, compassion. And education has to be, you shouldn't,
Intoxication.
yeah, like that. Because your knowledge goes away when you're drunk. Right? So it's related like that. Not necessarily you have to be exactly what I know must be there like that.
no, even in Bhagavatam itself it comes later on.
Yeah,
Satyam Saucham Shama Daya.
Yes.
It's on the-
Yeah, because as it in later ways the sages will say in different ways, no? But it's all same, connected to the same thing. Yeah. Sometimes broadly defined, sometimes it's very narrowly defined. It depends on which, when, or how they are saying.
Even English has a limitation.
Yeah.
Its words.
Yes.
English, because our conception is trained with English words which are limited.
Yeah. So anyway, here all the Varnashram system is established with what they need to do and so on. All that system is set up by Brahma based on what the Lord has given. Text 42.
सावित्रं प्रजापत्यं च
Savitram Prajapatyam Cha
ब्राह्मं चात बृहत्तता
Brahman
Chata Pragatata.
वार्ता सञ्चायशालीन
Sanchasashalina
शिलोञ्च इति वैगृहे
Shilonchati Vaigrihe.
Then the thread ceremony for the twice born was inaugurated, as were the rules to be followed for at least 1 year after acceptance of the Vedas. Rules for observing complete abstinence from sex life, vocations in terms of Vedic injunctions, various professional duties in household life, and the method of maintaining a livelihood without anyone's cooperation by picking up rejected grains. So it's very specific. What to do, brown rice?
Because brown.
No brown.
it died.
Okay,
Battery.
killed itself. So, you can see in the beginning, at the time of creation, how everything's so systematic. Everything, how to live your life is there.
Now very few people follow this program actually.
Yeah, so they can't follow. And even if you give them, they cannot follow. So now in ISKCON, we are trying to help people follow some standard. And still you'll find people say, well, what is the duty I have to do? They'll say, what I have to follow. Why? Because they want something, concrete. They know we don't have. How? Because people are different in Kali Yuga. What do you tell one guy, another guy say, I can't do it, sorry. Right? One family can do it, another family cannot do it. So Prabhupada made it very easy. Everything must be centered around Krishna. And follow your guru authority. Very simple. Why you want to complicate? But you will find when you try to preach, people will say, where ISKCON has any books that I can see, what is my duty and so on.
The whole book is there.
I know, but they want it all in black and white. So they want to do very dharmically how to lead a family. But you can't, because every family is having something different they are doing.
The application.
Yeah, it's different. So therefore, we follow simply what Srila Prabhupada taught us. You apply the principles. Whatever you don't know how to apply, you check. How do I apply this principle? Like that. The principles must be the ones that we have to understand. Then you can use in your life. Not that somebody tells you like a robot, you have to get up 5 in the morning. Then you will say, oh, I can't, I come back late. But then it's in the manual, so why are you not following? So they can't do all that. But they will make it a point to tell you that you don't have it, so you cannot act like what is my duty in Kali Yuga.
I think some other organizations have some small books.
Yeah, but what is it?
I don't know, they follow.
Yeah.
It says written in the book.
They don't have anything actually.
We also have Bhakta Manual.
They don't have. We have Bhakta manual or whatever, but still. Yeah, I think if you can get by a ticket manual first, then we can talk about how to live your life.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given clear instruction.
Yeah.
Wherever you're situated, just worship
Exactly,
Krishna.
that's what Prabhupada says.
Maybe we
Yes.
should write that one line in one book.
It won't satisfy most people. They will find because they don't want to surrender to the process. So then they use that as the drowning man will hold a straw. So the same way, even though your arguments or your display of knowledge is convincing, they don't want that. So they'll grab to this. Well, you don't have this thing. I cannot do my I cannot surrender because you don't have this thing. You can give him the whole world, but he will still hold on to that. Because people are like, they
Some
don't.
people are genuinely, they're very simple. They don't want.
So then it's easy. If you're simple, it's easy. They will just do it. They will not even ask anything. They'll just do it. So it's the complicated ones. They're complicated because they don't understand it. But you can see actually everything is in nicely systematic. And if you really look at our Krishna conscious, it is systematic. Prabhupada gives everything very systematically from the morning till evening. Everything is systematic.
It's a process. If you follow the process,
It's
properly,
systematic.
if you lack somewhere in process, the results will not come.
Anyway, I don't know how that connects with people who are refusing to even accept. They just want something manual. There are people who want a manual like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm saying it is there.
Yeah. As we read, but
Yes.
it takes many years to understand what the manual is.
Yes.
It's not a quickie.
No, it's
PDF
broadly
download.
defined in Kali Yuga. It's very hard. That's my point. It's more broadly defined. You cannot, for every single person in their home, how to live their life. You cannot have that. In those days, they were people. Kshatriyas means they know who Kshatriya is. Now you don't know who's a Kshatriya. Right? Anyone who shouts loud is a Kshatriya. But tomorrow he'll be doing some business, right?
Then Buddha Vaishya.
Yeah, and then the next day he'll be drinking. So he's a Shudra or something or whatever. So we cannot worry about those things. Right? When you preach, you tell them the goal in Kali Yuga is to please
They're chanting it.
chanting and all those things, and then maintain your family nicely within your means, within the process of devotional service. That's how you do it. Don't get so complicated.
I was talking to somebody in Hyderabad. So she said, yeah, I take bath after eating meat, therefore I can do puja.
There you go.
So he says, okay to eat and then take bath and do puja.
That's
And
good.
they follow like Kartik Masam, every day they do the ghee lamp. 1 month very pious and 11 months they will come back to normal. So we created a big concoction out
Yeah.
of
So this will happen.
scriptures.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the highest thing, they're
Yeah.
offering a ghee lamp to Damodar, and then 11 months they're doing something else.
And that is one way to look. Other way to look at it is, at least in Vedic system, there is some,
There's protection, yeah, there's that
at least at 1 month they are doing something.
safety
Something.
net. There is a safety
Well, we
net.
know that because of the culture, they are doing something,
Yeah, they're doing something.
but then they are concocting at the same time.
The misuse.
Anyway, I'm saying the reason why I brought up this is to show you that you should know that it is very systematic, but at the same time, when we are approaching Kali Yuga, it's because of the way the mind of the people in Kali Yuga is, they cannot follow even if you give a structure. You can't even chant 16 rounds. And then they will talk about all the other things. Because they don't want to do something, they will talk all these things. Anyway, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada wants people to take up performance of celibacy, and then he highlights his spiritual master. We had the opportunity to meet an avowed brahmachari in the personality of our spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pada Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj. Such a great soul is called a Naistika brahmachari.
So Roman Prabhupada said that 50% of his work of establishing Varnashram was left. So can you relate that to what you mentioned, that related?
Varnashram system 50. I do not really know. No? It seems that he said that. I didn't really look into it. But at the same time, I feel that the Varna and Ashram are already there also. Why I say that is, by our very nature, we will go towards a certain kind of activity.
Yeah.
So it's already there. If we understand Krishna consciousness properly, then you will know what is your nature also.
Yeah.
If you are practicing properly. So therefore, the Varna Ashram, you will know what your Varna is and what your Ashram is. You should know.
Yeah.
And the most truthful devotee will place himself in that category.
Yeah.
So automatically Varnashram should develop.
Right.
And you don't have to artificially impose that thing.
Yeah.
Even in temples, we see some people are naturally Kshatriyas,
Yeah.
some people
Yes. There is some semblance of this. Because it's like that. We all have that. The thing is, in Kali Yuga is we have more of the Shudra nature.
Yeah.
But we have some Brahminical qualities, some Vaishya qualities, Kshatriya qualities. It's there, but it's minimized.
Yeah.
But by doing devotional service, your true qualities will come nicely within the structure of the society. You will guide it towards one or the other. And you can see some people really like to business. You talk to them, they're always talking about the share market or trying to sell you something, right? Right? And then the others who only talk to you about puja, this. So they have more Brahminical qualities. But what the problem is, because we don't practice properly, we have egos. The ego wants us all to look like we are big Brahmins who's at the same time a Kshatriya. But he doesn't want to be a Shudra.
Actually, servant of nature.
And then, that also. But that's a situation.
But as you said, truthful when the person will rightly situate.
Yeah, so if you're very truthful to yourself, then
Yeah,
you
being
take a
truthful.
back step. I'm not in this, I cannot do this. But having said that, a Vaishnava will do anything that is required.
Whatever is required for the service.
Yes.
Prabhupada also started saying.
Okay? That means if I'm a Vaishnava, through real Vaishnava, the toilet in Sandife is plugged, somebody made a mess. So go in and clean. Because people are coming, we have to clean. So I will clean. Then after that, I'll take a shower and go on the altar and do puja. That's a devotee. So, Varna Ashram, you need that, Varna and Ashram, because even though I've said that, there are people who need to be guided. which is 80 to 90% of the population.
Yes. For them,
Figure
we
out
need a
what,
formal
where
structure.
exactly they
Yeah,
fit in.
where
Otherwise, they're not truthful.
yeah, but
we're not able to
yes, for
understand
them, for that to happen, you really need sincere devotees to guide.
that. Yes.
If you are not sincere, you can guide someone.
My understanding was Prabhupada's first step of the mission was to create the
Brahmanas.
first class men,
Yeah.
so that they can establish. You can't just have a Varnashrama Dharma without people. to
Brahmana, you
guide.
need Brahmana.
Just like
Oh,
same thing what Prabhu is saying.
Prabhu, you need to turn on the thing at the bottom. Yeah, because we turned it on, the water is flowing off.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
basically, if you are sincere, you would know your own self, and then you can
Help us.
help others. It's about being truthful.
Yeah,
That's
remember in the first canto I was saying you have to be truthful. The whole thing is based on how truthful you are. Without truthful, all the other legs cannot take place.
Without a head, nobody can.
I was remembering one interview where Prabhu was talking about like we are trying to generate high
Yes.
class of people where they can guide rest of the society. What
Yes.
you're trying to say, I think there are already many people who are great farmers or great technicians and great philosophers and those things, but they don't have a head, brain. So we're trying to create that class of people who have a great brain who can guide others.
So but my point is you have to also know where you are also. Otherwise it won't work.
But Prabhupada really wanted to establish the places where we can practice this simple living, high thinking, the farm communities, no? Prabhupada wanted to do that.
Yeah.
It
Demonstration.
was not
You
complete.
see,
Prabhupada
what
wanted to
happened?
demonstrate.
I agree with you, but when during Prabhupada's time also they started farm community and all. But then what happened to all those farm community? One or two farmers, the rest of them just sit down there. Right? That is what has happened. Yeah? Huh?
Rest is community.
Rest is community. So how you can have a farm community like that, right? One guy from morning to evening. So until you realize what your role is within a farm community, you cannot just go there and say, "Oh, I live there, I'm happy," because I don't have to face the society. It's not proper.
It's escapism.
It is escapism. Text 43.
वैखानासवलाखिल्यौ
वैखानसवलाखिल्यौ
कुम्भाराः फेनापवने
तुम्बारापिनामने
न्यासे कुटीचकः पूर्वं
न्यासे कुटीचकपूर्वं
बह्वो दोहंस निष्क्रियौ
भगवदोहंसनिष्क्रियौ
The 4 divisions of retired life are the Vaikanasas. So these Vaikanasas are people who live on half-boiled meals. The Valakilyas are they quit their former stock of grains on the receipt of getting more, like that. To get more, they give up something to get more, like that.
So there's
No,
no
once
stock.
somebody
They
else
don't
gives-
keep stock.
Yeah.
They whatever they
Once
have,
somebody
they
gives something, then whatever they have, they
dispose of it or give it away. Then Audambaras and Phenafas. So whichever way they are going, whatever they get in that direction, that's all they take. And the last one is they live on fruits which fall from the tree
automatically.
or in the forest. The 4 divisions of the renounced order of life are the Kuti Chakas, Bhavodas, Hangsas, and Niskriyas. Kuti Chakas are life in the family without attachment. That means like retired, stay in the family, but they are not attached to anyone or anything there.
Generally, they live outside the village, but still they get the food from their home. That kind of sannyasi.
That's like more like, yeah. If it's sannyasis, then yes, yeah. And then the other one is the Bhavodas.
Giving up all material,
Yes.
engaging pollutants.
So they only do devotional service. Then Hangsas, they
Paramhamsas.
are actually the ones who preach fully engaged in studying scriptures and so on. Niskriyas, they don't do any type of activities, material activities. So Prabhupada says in the Prabhupada, this is not a new invention of the modern age. All these things, it's coming from the dawn of creation. Text 44.
आन्वीक्षिकी त्रयी वार्ता
आन्वीक्षिकी त्रयीवार्ता
दण्डनीतिस्तथैव वा
दण्डनीतिस्तथैव च
एवं व्याहर्तयश्चासन्
एवं व्याहर्तयश्चासन्
प्रणवो हि अस्य दह्रतः
प्रणवो हि अस्य दह्रतः.
The science of logical argument, the Vedic goals of life, and also law and order, moral codes, and the celebrated hymns Bhu, Bhuvaha, and Swaha all became manifested from the mouths of Brahma. And the Pranava Omkara was manifested from his heart. They all have it. Okay. Text 45.
तस्योनि असिल्लोमाभ्यो
तस्योनिमासंसुमभ्यो
गायत्री च त्वचो विभोः
गायत्री च वचो विभोः
दृष्टुं मांसात् स्नुतो अनुष्टुप्
दृष्टुं मां साधुतो
जगति आस्थान प्रजापतेः
जगति आस्थान प्रजापतेः.
Thereafter, the art of literary expression, Usnik, was generated from the hairs on the body of the Almighty Prajapati. The principal Vedic hymn, Gayatri, was generated from the skin. Tristup from the flesh, Anustup from the veins, and Jagati from the bones of the Lord of the living entities. Text 46.
मय्यायाः पङ्क्तिरुत्पन्ना
मय्यायाः
बृहति प्रणतो भवात्
बृहति प्रणतो भवत्.
Majjaya.
मज्जाया.
So the previous verse, what is it that is being told here? Like Anustu from the veins. So what
These
is
are
it?
different Vedic meters.
Meters.
Text 46. The art of writing verse, Pankti, became manifested from the bone marrow, and that of Brihati, another type of verse, was generated from the life breath of the Lord of the living entities. Text 47.
स्पर्शस्तस्या भवज्जीवः
स्पर्शस्तस्या भवज्जीवः
स्वरो देह उदाहृतः
स्वरो देहमुदाहृतः
उष्मानाम् इन्द्रियाणि आहुर्
उष्माणाम् इन्द्रियाणि आहुः
अन्तस्तबलमात्मनः
अन्तस्तबलमात्मनः
स्वराः सप्तविहारेण
स्वरासप्तविहारेण
भवन्ति स्म प्रजापतेः
भवन्ति स्म प्रजापतेः.
Brahma's soul was manifested as the touch alphabets, his body as the vowels, his senses as the sibilant alphabets, his strength as the intermediate alphabets, and his sensual activities as the 7 notes of music. So every part of his body is used to generate something, Okay, text. Yeah, his body is pure intelligence, so it's transcendental, his spiritual body. Text 48.
शब्दब्रह्मात्मनस्तस्य
शब्दब्रह्मात्मनस्तस्य
व्यक्ताव्यक्तात्मनः परः
व्यक्ताव्यक्तात्मनः परः
ब्रह्मा वा भाति विततो
ब्रह्मा वा भाति विततो
नानाशक्ति उपब्रह्मितः
नानाशक्ति उपब्रह्मितः.
Brahma is the personal representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the source of transcendental sound, and is therefore above the conception of manifested and unmanifested. Brahma is the complete form of the Absolute Truth and is invested with multifarious energies. He is no ordinary person. No? He's Yes, I know. I was wondering how you can take it. He's an empowered person, okay? And he's transcendental actually. So
But
In
here he seems to be glorified at the level of Supreme Lord, complete form of absolute
he's
truth.
Avesh, Guna Avatar. No? So yeah, he can be called
can be
Bhagavan.
addressed like that,
Yeah,
just
nothing
like
wrong
that.
with it.
And
Yeah.
sometimes when there is no qualified divinity, the Lord Himself comes.
Yeah, he is qualified. So, in the Prabhupada writes in the last sentence, his transcendental value is not to be minimized, Brahma. Even though he exhibited a tendency to enjoy his own daughter, there is a purpose for the exhibition of such a tendency by Brahma, and is not to be condemned by like an ordinary living entity. He is Guna Avatar, he is Shakti Avesh. He is actually an exalted person. So whatever happens, we cannot judge him. We should not judge him. In fact, I remember reading one time where Prabhupada get very angry with his disciple for questioning. They write a letter saying, how can Brahma do this? So Prabhupada wrote back, it sounded like he chastised. You should not judge Lord Brahma. He is very exalted. We can do all nonsense and so on. We do worse than what he's very exalted. So we shouldn't judge him or any of these demigods actually. Right? If it happens, there's a reason behind it. We do not. The Lord has His own ways of exhibiting His transcendental energies. Text 49.
ततो परम उपादाय
ततो परम् उपादाय
ससर्गाय मनोदधे
ससर्गाय मनोदधे.
Thereafter, Brahma accepted another body in which sex life was not forbidden, and thus he engaged himself in the matter of further creation. So now in the Prabhupada says, in his former body, which was transcendental, affection for sex life was forbidden. And Brahma therefore had to accept another body to allow himself to be connected with sex. Thus engaged himself in the matter of creation. His former body transformed into fog, as previously described. Okay, so you can see he actually gave up when he took up this.
But this giving up is same as that incident, or
It's not chronological.
yeah, it's not really.
Huh?
Because he
What
has been,
happened to some other Brahma like this?
but no, yeah, but he has been creating all of these
He can give,
personalities.
yeah, he's giving up.
But for that, he
different
didn't require sexual interaction.
Yeah.
Right? He's
Yeah,
just
he
creating
doesn't
on his
need
own.
to. Yeah, but because he had that desire, so then he took this body.
One of the point I was just remembering that even the pure devotees sometimes they do some great services and we may not understand where we are at that point. But later stage as we progress, we can understand that faster.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing like with what Brahmaji is doing. It's not chronology. But maybe in certain while reading, understanding, we can understand.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Thanks. Yeah, well, he just gave up his body. He has been giving up several times for different reasons. He gave up a body, gives up his mentality, that kind of consciousness. Every time he gives up a particular consciousness, he doesn't like. It's like throwing a body away. Yeah. Remember, we get our body based on our what? Consciousness, mental consciousness. Right? So same way Brahma also gives up his that mentality. So it's like throwing away, casting a body. Yeah. So this body also, the former body also transformed into fog. It's only 3 or 4 hours. Huh?
The battery died.
Your battery died. Text. What happened? Oh, you didn't check. Text 50.
ऋषीणां भूरिवीर्याणां
ऋषीणां भूरिवीर्याणाम्
अपि सर्गम् अविस्तृतम्
अपि सर्गम् अविस्तृतम्
ज्ञात्वा तद्हृदये भूयस्
ज्ञात्वा तद्हृदये भूयस्
चिन्तयाम् अस कौरव
चिन्तयामः सौरवः.
O son of the Kurus, when Rama saw that in spite of the presence of sages of great potency, there was no sufficient increase in population, he seriously began to consider how the population could be increased. 51.
अहो अद्भुतमेतन्मे
अहोवर्तमेतन्मे
व्यापृष्ट्यापि नित्यदा
व्यापृतश्यामि
न हि एतन्तप्रजानूनम्
नाह्येदन्ते प्रजानम्
दैवम् अत्र विघातकम्
दैवम् अत्र विघातकम्.
Brahma thought to himself, alas, it is wonderful that in spite of my being scattered all over, there is still insufficient population throughout the universe. There is no other cause for this misfortune but destiny. Text 52.
So why should Brahma be so worried about filling up the population?
Because that's his job, no?
Service.
He's feeling that he's not doing his job properly. You don't feel that way? When you do your job?
We are different. We are
Because conditioned living
engaged in mundane
entities are
activities.
there, which have to come.
They
They
need
have to be
places.
delivered.
They need places.
He's compassionate, so many living entities must take birth. They are not populating fast enough. Progress is
It is
slow.
his job to get the living entities.
Underperformed.
Continue.
No,
I
but
mean,
they will
it's-
happen at a
it's-
particular pace based on the consequences of actions of living entities, and then they want to come down.
No, they're already there.
He's already distributing, but he couldn't get it to go faster than that. For some reason, it slowed down. So he wanted to. He's feeling something. Why is it slowed?
This is about conditioned living is already there, not.
Okay.
एवमुक्त्वा कृतस्तस्य
एवमुक्तस्तस्य
दैवं चावेक्षतस्तदा
दैवं चावेक्षतस्तदा
कस्य रूपम् अभूत् द्वेध
कस्य रूपम् अभूद्वेद
यत्कायम् अभिचक्षते
यत्कार्यमपि गच्छते.
While he was thus absorbed in contemplation and was observing the supernatural power, two other forms were generated from his body. They are still celebrated as the body of Brahma. So, because he was meditating on the Lord probably understood his concern that the population is not growing as fast as it should. So then these two forms came out of his body, and we'll find out who they are. Text 53.
ताभ्यां रूप विभगाभ्यां मिथुनं समपद्यत.
Two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship. Text 54.
यस्तु तत्र पुमांसो भून्
यस्तु तत्र पुमांसो भून्
मनुस्वयंभुवस्वरात्
मनुस्वयंभुवस्वरात्
चतुरूपाख्या
श्रीयाश्चतुर्वाक्यः
महिष्यस्य महात्मनः.
Out of them, the one who had the male form became known as the Manu, named Swayambhuva, and the woman became known as Shatarupa, the queen of the great soul Manu. Text 55.
तदा मिथुनधर्मेण
धर्मेण
प्रजा हि येधं बभूविरे.
So these two are the predecessors of the mankind. No? Thereafter, by sex indulgence, they gradually increased generations of population one after another. Text 56.
स चापि शतरूपायां
शतरूपायां
पञ्चापत्यानि अजिजानात्.
पञ्चापत्यानि अजिजानात्.
प्रियव्रतोत्तानपादौ
प्रियव्रतोत्तानपादौ
तिस्रकन्याश्च भारत.
तिस्रकन्याश्च भारत.
आकुतिर्देवहूतिश्च
आहुतिर्देवहूतिश्च
प्रसूतिरिति सत्तमा.
प्रसूतिरिति सत्तमा.
Son of Bharata, in the due course of time, he, Manu, begot in Satarupa 5 children, 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So, Swayambhu Manu is also a Mahajan. So, he's not an ordinary person. So, pure devotees. Text 57.
आकुतिं रुचये प्रादात् कर्दमाय तु मध्यमाम्.
कर्दमाय तु मध्यमाम्.
दक्षयादात् प्रसूतिं च
दक्षयायाप्रसूतिं च
यथा आपूरितं जगत्
यथा आपूरितं जगत्.
The father, Manu, handed over his first daughter, Akuti, to the sage Ruchi. This will be a quiz. The middle daughter, Devahuti, to the sage Kardama, and the youngest, Prasuti, to Daksha. From them, all the whole world filled with population. So here, Prabhupada writes the purpose. The history of the creation, the population of the universe is given herewith. So the whole population of the universe starts from them. Brahma is the original living creature of the universe from whom were generated the Manu, Swayambhuva and his wife Shatarupa. From Manu, 2 sons and 3 daughters were born, and from them all the population of the different planets until now. So, big family. Therefore, Brahma is known as the grandfather of everyone. The personality of Godhead, being the father of Brahma, is known as the great grandfather of all living beings. So you will read, right, this the sons Priyavrata, Uttanapada. So each canto will cover one of them, and then the daughters Akuti, Devahuti, they also have children, and that also will cover all the different cantos, pastimes. You see that these are very glorious personalities. So the Lord takes birth in their families and so on, and pastimes are elaborated.
All the Sankhya is given by Kadam.
Yes, so it's so they are connected.
Kapila.
Kapila from Devahuti.
That is different Devati. Son of the Devati.
What were you saying?
So sorry.
You said something else.
No, I said that is different Devati.
Different. You have a different Bhagavatam.
Same Devati.
Kardama Muni,
So maybe it's some different universe.
Possible.
we are in Chaturmukha Brahma.
We got more detail. Maybe
So it's the same Devati that the son of Devati comes and
this Devati marries Kardama. Remember, I tell you the line. You have to all know who marries who.
Kardama Muni,
Kardama marries Devati, Prasuti,
marries Daksha.
Daksha, and then Akuti, Ruchi. So they have big lineage, very, very glorious. So you can look at the, I think 8 canto book in the back, there's a lineage. You can go and memorize that if you want to.
Prabhu has that
Family
chart.
lineage. Yeah.
Family chart.
All right.
Chakrabarti there somewhere.
So then tomorrow is the appearance of Lord Varaha. So this is getting to be more detailed of Lord's appearance now. Yeah, it's very nice. A lot of devotional sentiments and philosophy. All right. So Prabhupada the key.
Prabhuji is not.